It's currently 86 degrees here in Minnesota, but this video is going to be really relevant really soon. Did you know that you can tailor your outerwear just like everything else and you can make it look fantastic on you and not like a garbage bag? I'm SD, here's 5 tips, ill-fitting clothes and long intros. I don't think so.
1.
Start with the basics. Now, this one's really simple and straightforward, so there's no point in spending a lot of time on it, but become very familiar with your sewing machine. And that being said, don't panic because most people are really surprised that they can get kind of the fundamentals of all of this down in a weekend. I am not exaggerating. You're going to be diving into things like jeans, t-shirts, dress pants, chinos, all of it. And all those same mechanics and all those same fundamental principles that you're going to use on those garments are also going to apply to your outerwear. Just a little bit differently. To make sure you don't mess up that jacket that you really, really like, get all of that down first and then dive in. Then dive into your winter coats and rain jackets and so on and so forth.
2.
Measure twice and cut once. In fact, maybe even measure like 3 or 4 times and then measure again and then cut once. No, don't get me wrong. Accuracy is obviously important in DIY tailoring, all of the different things, so on and so forth, but it is critical. It's absolutely critical when you are tailoring your outerwear because things can kind of shift on you a little bit.
3.
You want to make sure that you use a good quality of measuring tape, and by good quality, I mean the correct measuring tape. So use a fabric measuring tape so you can make sure that you get accurate measurements of things like your chest, your waist, your hips, things like that. And generally speaking, outerwear, it's going to be thicker. It's going to be bulkier. So you're going to want to make sure that you press things down, make sure that things are flat. And if it is exceptionally bulky, make sure you kind of work that into your measurements and take that into consideration. So by that, I mean you're just consistent all the way up and down.
4.
Choose the correct needle and the correct brand. Because my idiot self clearly wasn't thinking about the fact that outerwear is, like we said, generally thicker, right? Well, duh. So SD, that means you need to use a sturdier needle for things like this. You're going to want to use a denim needle that is at least 90-14, but more preferably 100-16. That's really going to be nice and thick, and it's going to be able to get through your thick parkas and pea coats and things like that. And as for the type of thread that you should use, we'll use polyester, just like you would in a lot of other DIY tailoring projects. Very, very rarely do I use cotton thread, because polyester thread, it's strong, it's durable, and it's also going to be able to stretch as well, whereas cotton thread can't do any of those things. I want to start playing with this now.
5.
And this one is a big one, pockets on your coat, because what ends up happening is you can take in the side seams on a winter jacket or a rain jacket or a fall jacket, whatever it's going to be, but you can only do so much, and that's not because you have any sort of limitations as to how big the side seams are and you're going to slim them down. Nope, it's the pockets. Because what happens is the pockets will shift on you. The pockets came one way, and then when you take in the side seams, what happens is the pockets are going to shift back towards your jacket on you. So it makes them a little bit more cumbersome to use, and it makes them a little bit more difficult to use. Not the end of the world, but if you do too much, you kind of find yourself reaching back awkwardly to get your phone or use it, or you might just make it and render it completely unusable. I had a second longer outro, but the baby's waking up, so SD out. See